back, guys and girls, to another episode of Dad's Toy Garage, where Tony and I are building Project Snake Charmer. It's a 1972 Toyota CELICA, and if you're in America, CELICA. And we're going to be this is the car we're fitting the 2.3 liter Mustang EcoBoost into. For this episode, we're going to be tackling shrinking down this dashboard, as you see here. It's a dashboard from the 2015. It allows us to run all the electronics, and we both thought it looked kind of cool, so we're going to try and integrate that into the car. And I'll also be working on getting all the floor cut out of the car, and the subframe connectors will also be fully welded in this episode. So sit back and enjoy this episode. Well, just another load of 72 CELICA going to scrap. Now there's a good reason why this car is becoming a race car. It is worse than my 73, but not by much. But most people I think would scrap it by now. This is the inner rocker. It's an outer rocker, what's left of it, and all kinds of stuff in there. The frame rail. Same idea as the other car. The reason why I replaced it, it's rusted thin, so that's gonna get recycled tomorrow. Here's a box of oil and new filter for our EcoBoost. The motor takes 5W30, so I'm just gonna put 4 of these into the motor and put on the filter in the opposite order. Filter first, of course. We're just running the Motorcraft 5W30 synthetic motor oil in this beast. So next order of business is I'm going to be stripping the parts out of the dashboard and like steering column and anything that gets in the way. You can probably save those for the other car. And then we're going to be cutting the dashboard out of here, and I want to leave a little bit of a, I don't know, 3/4 inch to an inch seam on here. I'll probably cut it along there, and then there's tabs inside, like down low, that hold the bottom of the dash on. I will leave those on there and just cut the dash, and that way once we bring the 2015 Mustang dash into here, we can I guess we can potentially reuse those tabs. I'm thinking we'll probably have to cut the front of that Mustang dash because it'll be more square than this one, and we'll have to cut the sides down once we see it. We will be also removing most of the bottom of that dash. Then we can have, once our dash is trimmed, we can have it sit on this ledge here and screw it down to that. Alright, so we're gonna cut the dashboard along here now. What I'm gonna do first of all is put some tape down. So I'm gonna give myself a nice clean cut line. And I only have really wide tape, that'll have to do. That's it. I'm gonna hang that on the wall because it'll just be pretty awesome up there. But that leaves this open I've got the side brackets here I was telling you about, and there, and then the top here. There should be lots of room to bolt. There'll be a lot of room to bolt a new dashboard onto there, or lots of spots that we can attach it to. Alright, so I'm thinking a good spot for this, right up here on my wall of stuff. Alright guys, I'm going to cut this part of the floor out of the car now. I'm going to leave the transmission tunnel in there for now, and we'll just kind of do the same as we've done on the other side. Alright, so there is no floor left on that side of the car now. We just got the transmission tunnel sitting in there. This is the portion of floor that came out of the car. You can see it's got a good amount of rust on it. And all I'm going to do is save this transmission crossmember brace out of there. Because I did cut mine up, and this one will be a stock one if I ever need to go back to stock on the 73. Alright, so I'm just doing some cleaning up of metal that we won't need. As you can see, I've made nice clean cuts. I'm potentially thinking that we might end up reusing this tunnel. If nothing else, we may have to raise it up because the engine might sit higher up into the body. Yeah, I've cleaned this side up. I've made the same kind of cuts on both sides there. Up in this front portion. That side is also done the same as this side. We'll worry about the back half later. I know we're going to have to reinforce these torque boxes here. I believe you call them torque boxes, where the lower control arms go into. And now I can, I guess the next step is in this piece here of the front frame rail that came on the car. I need to take measurements, transfer them to this side, make the cuts so that they both are cut off the same, and then I can start fitting that front frame rail. In here I've cut the very bottom of this frame rail off, about a centimeter's worth, same as this. And the way I figured that out was I made this paper template here, and it got, I held it over here, kind of like this, and it lines up along, and just trace the shape of the rail, transfer it over to this side here like this, and then it showed me along the bottom here where to cut. So now I can take the measurement of this space of rail here and draw it onto the square tubing that's going to go on this side. And the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to get this all ready before I actually weld the rail in here. When we put this one in, we cut it and peeled this back so we could weld inside there. So I'm going to do the same thing. I've marked it out here. I'm going to cut along these two lines till the crease, fold it up, and I'll weld it back together after I'm all done. In here, fold this up, out of the way for now. Get inside here, and we're going to cut this inside section out and weld it back together with the rail in there. So you can see inside this portion I've cut along there, so I can weld onto the frame rail and onto there, and that will be welded from the bottom side potentially, or the top if I can grind some of that clean. And then we'll slide in there and weld it back together. Fold the flap down, and that rail will be in there. It'll butt up on this part of the floor, and then it will just come in here like this. Alright guys, to show you how I'm getting these two frame rails the same, because we have a joint in the middle and it dips a little bit to allow us more room for the seat. I've clamped them on and I've cut the angle in there, and I've also given it a really good bevel, so I'm going to now tack that in place and then weld it up solid. Alright, there we go. That is the perfect angle to match the other side, and now we have a second subframe connector. Here's the frame connector. It's clamped into place in the bottom of the car, and I'm going to tack the front because we're going to be cutting that off eventually, but I need it to hold this place while I set it up. And the back's going to get nice and solid welded. So I put a bit of thought into something here. I'm having a hard time getting welds into the inside. I'm going to cut this open a little wider and then just plate it over here after I'm done with a fresh piece of steel. Alright, so let's have a look inside and I can give you guys a close-up of what I was doing here. So that's inside there. It's good and strong now. And I'm happy with that. So we're going to close this up, but I think I'm going to weld the bottom first. And I have a spot I can jack on this car now. This is solid in here. So we should be able to lift the car on this. Alright, so what we got going here, this, don't pay any attention to how it looks, and this along here. So as you can see, it's welded directly to the rear subframe rail on the top and bottom, and over there, and then inside like I showed you before. So here is the plate. I'm going to be welding over a place of this. Alright, that is good as new. Actually better. Alright, so I'm going to weld the cross brace. This is the front by the dog legs, one on each side. We'll start with this one here. Alright, so I got the cross beams in here. Ones that join to the rocker panels. Clean metal certainly welds a lot nicer. I built some really awesome support braces so that we can, in short order, I think we're going to be cutting off most of the front end with the Sawzall. Sawzalls are fun, especially with new blades. And these support braces are from my garage door, so I didn't have to buy any steel for it. What's going on over there?
Oh, just cutting stuff.
Oh yeah, what kind of stuff we cutting over here?
This dash won't fit.
Okay.
So, here it goes.
Let me hold that for you.
Thanks.
Make sure. Do you want to keep that vent?
I don't know, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe I should stop there. Oh, this is actual aluminum.
I know, I was feeling that. That's why kind of why we want to keep it, eh?
Yeah, that's awesome. And we can maybe even use this piece over on that side where we wrangle it.
I think so. Well, let's keep it. And maybe your friend who welds aluminum can weld.
It would take the finish off, but I guess we don't.
But then we just sand it down and have a brushed aluminum insert.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty good looking, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna cut through lots of stuff. So.
Is there any wires we gotta worry about in there?
Nope.
This is how you, as a mechanic, is this how you remove an airbag?
Yeah, this is the Takata recall.
Okay. So we've cut up the Mustang dashboard from the 2015 Mustang. I mean, all the trim and everything we pulled out will protect that. We've shortened it so that it fits in the car. We'll get a clip of that shortly, of it kind of held in place in the car. But that's something we wanted to integrate into this build. We took out all the metal framework from the back of this dashboard, and we're just going to run a single tube. We'll probably end up welding it across from that side to that side onto the sheet metal, and then we'll figure out a way to bolt this dashboard to that. Well, that looks really good. I like that. Yeah. Hold it there for a little bit longer.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Thanks for joining us, guys, girls, on another episode of Dad's Toy Garage. I guess in the next episode, you'll be seeing us do some more metal fab. I realized today I got to go over some rules for how to build a roll cage, what's legal and what's not. So I got to do some research on that before we do too much roll cage stuff. But I'm going to probably be next time. I want to throughout the next week tackle on the engine bay of this car, cutting everything out of there, leaving minimal stuff there. We're going to be building new frame rails so we can get the proper height on the Miata subframe front suspension. So that is going to be one of my priorities this week on this car. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.